The time has come for the 86th live letter, which is the live letter for patch 7.2. In this video, we will have a quick recap of what was talked about in the live letter, so you can be up to date on what is coming in the upcoming patch. Starting from the beginning, we are getting a new main scenario, a new dungeon, which is the Underkeep, and a new trial called Recollection, which of course comes both out in normal and extreme. We will be getting a new raid tier, which is the Arcadion Cruiserweight. In PvP, the missing front line is returning with various improvements. We are getting the new Unreal Trial, the Hell's Keer, and new Corn Service side quest. We are getting new role actions exclusive to the large-scale PvP, new crafting gear, the Sunken Temple of Corn is getting duty support, and we're getting new tombstones, which are the elegant tombstones of mathematics. We will be getting the Cosmic Exploration, which I am personally very excited for. We are getting the Occult Crescent, which is a large-scale content similar to Bosia and Eureka. The Mamulja will be our new Allied Society quest, and we are getting more Hildebrand. Now we had a little closer look at the Arcadion, where we got to see some of the bosses. One of them is this dancing guy that looks absolutely hilarious. And it looks like all of his mechanics are gonna be dancing themed, which I absolutely love. I think the Arcadion has turned out to be my favorite raid series visually and boss design wise, simply because they allow themselves so much creativity. And then we get to see some new gear, which, like always, is shown printed out. Now let's talk about PvP. We are getting new role actions exclusive to large-scale PvP. You are able to select one of 3 actions for each role, and you can change them at any time during the game as long as you go to your base. They showed us some examples, but make note these are only one of 3 actions each role will get. So I am excited to see the others. The Borderlands ruins are returning with some improvements. Like in every frontline, there's going to be 72 players split into 3 teams of 24, and the goal is to increase your points up to a designated score to win. To increase your score, you can either occupy any of the 9 key locations, battle some elegant weaponry, or defeat enemy players. To occupy the node, you simply have to stand nearby it with no other team in the vicinity for a short period. You can also go and claim your enemy's key location by simply standing on it with none of your enemies around. There is a new key location buff called Sheer Will, which gives massive damage buff to all players in their vicinity regardless of occupying team. Which means damage is gonna be much higher around there, and death probably much quicker. Like in the previous iteration of this map, at certain intervals, the elegant weaponry is gonna appear at the center of the map. So you have to go there and fight it to quickly raise your rating. They have though added teleporters this time around in the outskirts of the map, which allows you to quickly travel to the center. Make note, all of these teleporters are quite close to capture points, meaning you can actually be defending your capture point and then quickly jump to the center. Here we also got an example of something very exciting. We no longer have to stop if we want to mount up. You can simply be running and then mount up. The cast timer is still there, but moving is not going to disrupt it, which is very exciting. This is of course very handy for things like PvP, but I think this is going to be most handy for gatherers, who spend a lot of their time jumping off their mount to then jump onto their mount again. We got to see more gear, and this one is a clear reference to Final Fantasy IX. But now let's talk about cosmic exploration. To start cosmic exploration, you have to have finished the Endwalker main scenario quest, meaning you don't have to have finished the entirety of the Endwalker expansion. It is accessible by Disciples of the Hand and Land level 10 and above, so if you have some crafters or gatherers you've been wanting to level but you haven't done so yet, well, this might be a great way to do it. And this content is gonna have a separate inventory, very similar to island exploration. We of course get a new outfit, which is this space-themed outfit, and it looks very cute. Now the goal this time is actually to build a base where we can start exploring other planets from. This area will of course have its own currency and things to gather and work with. The idea was that it is some sort of a mix of the Arcadion restoration and the island sanctuary. We're gonna get some missions that we can accept where we go gather the needed things. I foresee having a lot of fun with this, and I'm so glad we're getting a large scale content like this. And then we have a version of the Kupo of Fortune, except, well, I guess this is gonna be the Loperate of Fortune this time around. Let's have a chance of rewarding some interesting things. But there seem to be a lot of interesting things in this, including mounts. And when you take part, you can actually pick which wheel you want to spin out of two options. Meaning if one of the wheels doesn't have anything you want, at least you could spin the other one. And there's gonna be a special currencies in this place. The Cosmo credits can be exchanged for various rewards. And then there are the Luna credits, which you used either for the Cosmic Lottery, which is the Loperate of Fortune thing. You can also exchange for a ticket to join a mech ops. The mech ops are regularly occurring large-scale operation, comprised of mech pilots and ground support. The two groups coordinate on missions to gather minerals and remove obstacles. And those who want to pilot the mech must exchange Luna credits for pilot application. And up to 5 applicants can randomly be selected, meaning even if you buy it, you won't be selected every time. There is no limit of number of people taking part as ground support, so even if you're not one of the 5 to get into the mech, you at least can always take part. Then there are the critical missions. From time to time, unusual weather phenomena happen. During this time, players must band together to finish designated objectives with a limited amount of time. And then there is the Star Contributor Award. So Scanning Way will tally each player's level of contribution to the cosmic exploration every other day Earth time. So when you complete exploration activities within the tally period, you are going to increase your contribution level. The player who contributes the most within a 24-hour tally period will be awarded with status of Star Contributor immediately following that period. Now, if you happen to become the Star Contributor, then for 2 weeks the following things are going to happen. There will be a hologram of your character projected within the base camp. Your name will be displayed on a bulletin board within the base camp, and a visual effect will be applied to you when exploring the stars. You will, though, be unable to receive the Star Contributor Award again for 14 days. I can see there being quite a bit of competition for this. With Cosmic Explorations, we're also getting the Cosmic Tools. From the very beginning, we can earn our Cosmic Tools. Now the Cosmic Exploration is going to be world specific, and you can only progress on your own world. And with each major patch, we're going to be getting a new place to explore. And with each major patch, we are getting a new star to develop. We are starting with the moon in patch 7.21, but we don't yet know where we're going to be going in 7.3, 4, and 5. Though I would definitely guess that we might be going to something related to the 1st, the 13th, and probably the 9th. But we will see. And even when not equipped, we can enhance the Cosmic Tools, increasing their item level by simply progressing through missions. And now it's time to talk about Occult Crescent, which is our new large-scale battle content, similar to Boscia and Eureka. To get to Occult Crescent, you have to have finished the main scenario quest Dawntrail and have a Disciple of War or Magic at level 100. Like with Boscia and Eureka, you don't use Duty Finder to enter this place, instead you speak to a designated NPC. The Occult Crescent is split into instances, with 72 players being able to join a single instance. When you're in a party though, your entire party is gonna join the same instance. Like before, this is exactly like Eureka and Boscia, so if you're familiar with those mechanics, you know exactly what to do. Like in the previous content, there is gonna be a unique progression level, and this one is known as the knowledge level. The difference between your knowledge level and the enemy's level will greatly influence damage dealt and taken. And if you get incapacitated at knowledge level 5 or above, you will lose experience points when not revived by another player. Losing too many experience points will result in lowering your level. Just make note that below level 5, you are not going to be losing any more experience. The first area we will enter is called Occult Crescent South Horn. And it looks very pretty. This content is supposed to be a more classical fantasy story, which I am excited. And you can see it with the visuals. We have those floating bubbles in the sky, there is a massive pyramid. It looks like it's going to be a fun one. In Occult Crescent, you can take on a support job. What they showed were Phantom Freelancer, Phantom Time Mage, Phantom Knight, Phantom Monk, and Phantom Bard, but there are gonna be more support jobs. As you travel around, you can come across critical content. To take part in it, you need to go to the pulsating circle and stand in it. This is also a good place to actually form up parties. Everyone in the circle will be teleported to the boss, where they, in Yoshi-P's case, will die. As you play through the content, you can get field notes, which are gonna give us some interesting lore. They did not want to show us this much because, well, we would just pause the VOD and try to read it. There will be an XP chain reward. If you defeat enemies with this chain symbol above them in quick succession, you will initiate an XP chain granting increased rewards. The best way to do this is, of course, to form a party to more easily initiate more XP chains. For a party to get XP chains, they have to be something known as a balanced party, meaning everyone is within 3 knowledge levels of each other. If you happen to have somebody who is or lower than the rest of the group, you can simply sync the party's knowledge level, making you a balanced party. While playing an Occult Crescent, there are also gonna be fates. You will encounter these around the island, and these can be challenged by even a small number of players. You can also easily join raids that have already started. Then there is the Forked Tower, which is the Occult Crescent dungeon. It will be unlocked with 7.25 as long as you meet the requirement. As you explore the island, you can find ciphers. If 16 or more players use the ciphers at a designated location, an ethereal node will activate, teleporting them into the tower's hall after a brief period. Max 48 players can go in at a time, so if there are more than 48 players standing on the ethereal node, then the ones who go in will be randomly selected. Of course, those who use the cipher will have a higher chance of being selected. Though personally, I feel that if you use the cipher, you should be guaranteed. But apparently it only gives you a bigger chance. The tower is gonna be challenging, and apparently there's a lot of hidden gimmicks. But they don't want to show them to us so they can be a surprise. As you travel Occult Crescent, you may find treasure chests. These are yours to keep, so make sure to open them and see what you can find. If you rescue magic pots from monsters and then offer them an elixir, they will give you hints about the location of a treasure. This is basically the bunny fates again, except less cute and more disturbing. I love it. Occult Crescent will have its own currency, being the Enlightenment silver pieces, which you primarily acquire from fates and critical encounters, and the Enlightenment gold pieces, which you primarily acquire from defeating monsters in the wild. They did not make a PowerPoint for this, but the weapon enhancement story content will also be unlocking with the field exploration. These are the phantom weapons. The first step will be some sort of a drop, a nuclear, some sort of a content. That's all they can say at the moment. But I am eager to start our weapons for this expansion. Now, the Occult Crescent is going to be releasing with 7.25. Sometimes during 7.4 we are going to get new phantom jobs. And then in patch 7.5 we will get new area and new phantom jobs as well. Occult Crescent is not going to get any update in 7.3 because that is the update where we're going to get a new deep dungeon. Occult Crescent is going to bring some glam. If you get this gear anywhere within Occult Crescent, you will get boosted stats. And then there is this glam. It is just a pretty glam. We don't get to know where it comes from just yet. Yoshi P then took time to show us some new minions and mounts in the game. There is this adorable little dog. I don't know what that is supposed to be. We have what looks like a fish in a diaper holding a heart balloon. Then we get a pretty white bird. And like most birds, it will land on either your shoulder or on your head. And there is this adorable little, rover. It's like a cute little rover. I like it. There are 5 mounts Yoshi P wanted to show. One of them is this block where the player hangs out from. What is this? I love that the player's little legs are just kind of hanging down there. And then it has like a creepy face in the back. And when you fly, the player sticks their hands out to flap their wrists. What is this mount? Oh, I love this. This is so dumb. There is a new car, which is Very Solution 9 looking. We have a Mac mount. And of course wings from the new Extreme Trial, which changed quite drastically when you actually fly up. There is an update to the sprint action. Now if you're in a sanctuary, be it a city or near an aetherite, when your sprint runs out, you will be given a status which is basically jogging, allowing you to kinda switch between sprinting and jogging, allowing traverse to be, well, more smooth and faster. We got to know some of the release times for the upcoming patch. 7.2 is coming out on March 25th. So make sure if you're gathering your PvP, you need to be done before then, because that is also when the seasons are gonna change. The Arcadion Savage tier will release on April 1st, and Cosmic Exploration will release on April 22nd. While Occult Crescent, the new Mamulja Society quest, and the Hildebrand quest will all release on May 27th. The end of the livestream showed some crossover items and merchandise, which I'm gonna allow to simply roll here in the background as we finish up. I am curious though, what are you most excited for in the upcoming patch? I personally am kinda struggling with picking. I am looking forward to the main story. I think the new Arcadion is gonna be very fun, and I am excited for both of the new big contents. So it's hard to pick. I think I'm least excited about the Mamulja reputation quest simply because the Pelu Pelu one did not really grab me that much. But hopefully the Mamulja ones will be better. But tell me what you're thinking down in the comments. And while you're down there, maybe give me a commendation by liking and subscribing, especially if you like news content like this. And in the end, all I want to say is takk fyrir að horfa og eigðu yndislegan dag.